My goodness. Y'all, today has been an adventure. I don't even know how to invite y'all to my Facebook Lives. Someone just said to me the other day, they were like, you don't need to invite people to come to your Facebook Lives. And I was like, no, I didn't know that. I don't know how to do that. Like, is there some fancy feature or something that I don't know about that makes it apparently miraculous that I can invite people to my Facebook Lives? I don't know. I Googled it. I looked it up. If you're there, tell me hello so I know you're there so you can tell me hello. But like make a comment, have some things, do some stuff, whatever it is. Why is the quiet mode turned on? Swipe left to reveal comments and reactions. Yes. Okay. Great. Technology just escapes me sometimes. It's super awesome. So here's the deal. I am at the Portland International Airport at the PDX because I am flying to go and speak at the National Association for Perinatal Social Workers Conference. I'm so excited. This is like my first official conference since I launched Bird Girl Industries, and I'm so happy about it. So anyway, I am at the airport, and my beautiful and amazing husband, James Thomas Kelly, said to me, darling, you should take the shuttle up to Portland, because if you take the shuttle up to Portland, you don't have to pay for parking. It saves us some money, and it's so relaxing because you get to go all the way to Portland and you don't have to drive, which is only like, let's be real, like an hour and a half. But he was like, you drive up there anyway to teach. It's not a big deal. You should take the shuttle. So of course, what do? I listen to my beautiful and amazing husband because I love him. And I'm like, that's a great idea. I'll take the shuttle. I'll listen to my podcast. Hey Mel, what's up? Good to see you. How are you? So I'm like, I will take the shuttle. This will be fabulous. I won't have to drive.
Attention, please.
Oh.
Amber, Loon.
That's not me.
Amber,
Just for the record.
Loon.
They need somebody. So here I am. I'm in the shuttle. There's a lot of people. Like, I'm super excited about it. And this couple, hey, thanks. Hey, Mel Buckner. I love my hair too. It's so good. Look out. I wake up in the morning and I'm all, oh my God, my hair is so amazing. Anyway, so here I am. And I'm like, I'm in the shuttle on the way to Portland Airport. And there's a baby on the shuttle. And the baby won't stop crying. Now, I'm a mom. Like, I get it. Dustin Thompson, I'm on my way to see you. Are you excited? I'm excited. I'm excited to see you, Dustin Thompson. I'm so excited that there's no screaming children in your hairs. You know what, Mel? I do rock as a blonde. Let's be real. I do. And I was going for that whole Debbie Harry sort of a thing where it's like dark at the bottom and blonde on the top. So I'm really happy. I'm totally glad you are with me because I love it. So I take the shuttle up to Portland Airport and there's a screaming child on it for the whole entire 2.5 hours. Let's just talk about how calming that was. But Jim was like, you need to be rested when you get to the airport. And I was like, I'm not rested. I'm totally stressed out. So I had some lunch. It was super delightful. So here I am, rocking with y'all at the Portland Airport. And we're going to talk about some stuff. And one of the things we're going to talk about is the new, your wife has the same hair right now, Mel? Oh, so good. So a couple of things in the reproductive health world have happened today. And I want to talk about those. And I'm going to talk to you for a minute about why I started this crazy Facebook Liveness in the first place. Because let's just be real. Like, the Facebook Live is no joke. I have no idea how to collect people on it. I have no idea how to tell people, like, all the technical things about it. But I can tell you why I did it. And the reason I did it is this. I wanted a platform. And I started these Facebook Lives because I wanted a platform where I could share my perspectives about stuff. About how I feel about certain issues, about the things that are really, really critically important to me, about feminism and reproductive justice and our current political climate, and also like my family's and my experiences as a writer and a speaker and a life coach and all of the other crazy stuff that I'm totally up to. So I really, I started doing these Facebook Lives twice a week because I really wanted people to be able to like engage with me. And also, Miss Irish, how are you? It's good to see you. Oh, no problem. I'm late too. It's totally fine because I was on a shuttle with a screaming baby all the way to Portland Airport, so it's good. But welcome. So I really started these Facebook Lives because I really wanted to have like this opportunity to create a platform for people to get online and like figure out who I am. Now, I'm a terrible technical person, so I've tried to like get more followers and all that stuff. But what I've noticed is that people watch my Facebook Lives after, which makes me totally happy. But what I want to talk to y'all about it today is a bunch of things have been happening in the abortion world that I think are really critical to have a conversation about. The first one is that Iowa passed on Wednesday, so just a couple days ago, Iowa passed this really horrendous bill that outlaws abortions performed after fetal cardiac activity has happened in the 6th week. So it's around 6 weeks of pregnancy that if you go through a vaginal ultrasound, which, oh, by the way, let's just talk about how a transvaginal ultrasound is one of the most invasive procedures ever. I had to have one before I got my hysterectomy. They're incredibly traumatic. They're no fun. They're horrifying procedures. And so now we're talking about the state of Iowa mandating you get a transvaginal ultrasound to prove which week in pregnancy you are so that they can ban whether or not you want to have an abortion in the 6th week of pregnancy. I'm just going to let that sink in for y'all for a minute. You know what I'm really, really disturbed about? The fact that the governor is a woman who has said that abortion is equivalent to murder, which fine. Like, you know, if that's your belief, that's fine. But this is going to become the country's strictest limit on abortion rights. Yes, Liz Irish, that is total crap. Sally Elliott, how are you, my friend? It's so good to see you. So, here's the thing that really, really, really bothers me is that it is women who are taking the lead in talking about this abortion bill, which is horrifyingly invasive. It's the strictest bill that has passed in the country. And, well, hey, Cheryl, that's your belief, and that's totally fine. You can have that belief. It's totally fine. That's got to be your belief. But see, my belief as a pro-choice woman is that I am a pro-choice woman who would never choose to have an abortion. And so, especially because I battled infertility my whole life. And so part of me feels like a lot of this is really critically personal. And so for me, what's most important when we're talking about abortion issues is that we understand that these are very personal dilemmas that people go through, and that abortion should really be safe, rare, and legal, so that we don't have to, because it's between me and my God and my partner about whether or not I have abortion services. And so when we pass these bills that are stricter and stricter and stricter, it creates these spaces where women are not able to make decisions that are best for their family. And I've talked to these women, and I have experienced these women. And as someone who's experienced infertility, which is really where I feel like our intersections occur. And Mel, you're totally right. Like the worse and worse bills. What's ironic is that about overturning Roe versus Wade is Roe versus Wade is a Republican decision made by Supreme Court justices that were nominated by conservative Republicans. And so the irony for me here is really tricky when it comes to Roe versus Wade, because the judges that made that decision were actually conservative Republican judges that made these decisions. And so I find Roe versus Wade is the case where the term activist judges actually first came to light, because the Democrats actually used that term to attack the Republican activist judges who decided Roe. And so that 7-2 decision is a critical decision for a number of reasons, but we have to be really tied into the history about what it really means to talk about Roe versus Wade, because Roe is actually a Republican decision made by Republican nominated judges. The two judges who had been nominated by Democrats to sit on the Supreme Court voted against Roe versus Wade. So, I mean, I understand that this is an intensely personal issue for a lot of people, especially as a pro-choice person, but I also understand that passing a law about a fetal heartbeat at 6 weeks, when women often don't even know they're pregnant, is really, well, my family is in existence without a child being born of my own body. So Cheryl, to your point, like if, my family is in existence because my children were born, but I didn't have them. But my family exists because of that. So one of the things that I think is really fascinating, and one of the nuances that I think is fascinating about the bill in Iowa, is that the University of Iowa, their OBGYN residency program, will not be able to meet their accreditation standards if they end up having this ban passed. And so I don't know if you all are familiar with how medical schools work, but one of the things that's really important for OBGYN residency, especially for women who have very intended and wanted pregnancies, is that their OBGYNs be trained in how to assist a woman, no matter what her birth process is, in being able to deal with her pregnancy. And part of what is disconcerting to the University of Iowa is that their OBGYNs won't be able to provide the training that maintains its status with the Accreditation Council for Medical Education for OBGYNs. And this is a really critical point, because many times along the spectrum of a pregnancy, a very intended, very wanted, very loved, very excited pregnancy, women go through issues wherein several procedures have to take place. And this ban effectively eliminates the ability for OBGYNs to be able to make medical decisions that are in the best interest of the women and their families. One of the big wins I want to talk about this week that I'm really, really excited about is that in South Carolina, the GOP introduced an abortion ban that the Democrats killed. And so they did a days-long filibuster that started about 1 a.m. on Friday, ended at about 1 a.m. on Friday, so that's this morning. After 3 days of debate and a Democratic filibuster with no end in sight, the Senate Republicans gave in, and a bill that would have virtually outlawed all abortions in South Carolina was killed Friday morning, this morning. Because the GOP had tried to get the Democrats to sit down, and they didn't have the votes that they needed in order to pass the bill. And I feel like that's really, really a critical sort of juxtaposition against Iowa, because the bill would have outlawed 97% of the abortions performed in South Carolina each year, and it made exceptions only for rape, incest, or serious medical emergencies, which are really complicated things to prove when you're talking about abortion services. So at least the bill has gone back to committee, and that's really really a critical thing, I think, to the policy implications here. And I think that's really what I want to bring up. For any of you who've been following me for a long period of time, you know that I was the lobbyist for Planned Parenthood in Utah. You know that I have been fighting this fight for a whole long time. But I think for any of you who really know who I am and who have been following me for a while, you also know that I've struggled with my own issues of infertility and spaces where I have really struggled with becoming a parent. And I think this is the thing that I really want to sort of talk about for just a minute. When we other women and dehumanize women who choose to get an abortion procedure, we, in effect, are leaving out our ability for all of us to pull up to the table to have a conversation about the things that really matter to us and are critical to us as women. And I really feel like it is especially critical and important to be willing and open to having difficult conversations about issues that are very deeply important to us. And for me, the issue of women being able to choose their own medical care and the path that is best for them is like the platform that I really stand on really deeply. And I feel like the reason I started doing these Facebook Lives, and the reason that I've started my blog, and the reason that I talk about all of these things so deeply and intentionally is because I am really for any of you that knows me, willing to sit and speak my absolute truth about this. And really sit in the darkness so that I can come into the light. I even have that tattooed on my back. Like, I have a tattoo on my back that says "Forward out of darkness, forward into light." And I really am deeply committed to speaking my truth about how I feel about this issue, and to also really sit intentionally in this sort of concept of othering and dehumanizing women who are making these very difficult decisions for their families. It is not my job to tell other people what is in their best interests. And you know what's fascinating is that I used to work for the CASA program. I'm a social worker. I've been a social worker professionally for 25 years. And I used to work for the CASA program, and I used to volunteer for children who I used to volunteer to help children who were in foster care and were going through these very difficult decisions. And I used to volunteer as a CASA to help the court make decisions about what was in the best interest of that child. And I've worked the gamut of all of these things. And I think the most important thing to me is that we need to recognize that people are not all bad. And that disagreement about issues is healthy. And that's really what our democracy was founded on. And Cheryl, you're asking me some difficult conversations. And I can honestly say that as the lobbyist for Planned Parenthood in Utah, I really had a difficult time with second and third trimester abortions. But the way I really came to the place where I felt comfortable advocating for women to make that decision for themselves was that it's exactly that. It's not my choice. What women do, the choices women have to make, especially in their second and third trimester of abortion or of pregnancy. And if they decide to get an abortion for whatever reason that is, that's between them and their God. And it's not my job. It's just truly not my job. And women have to resolve that for themselves with the people in their lives and their bodies and their doctors and their husbands or partners and their God. That's not, I don't get to make those decisions for people. And so it's the othering of women that I keep coming back to over and over again. And also this knowledge and this deep, there's so much nuance to policy and to the conversations that we're having. And I just really, I really invite all of us to be able to really look at the nuance of what we're talking about when we talk about these very deep issues. And I really feel like there are some critical conversations to be having, and we need to really figure out how to pull each other up to the table to have those conversations. So pay attention to what happens in Iowa this week. I don't know. I'm assuming the governor's going to sign that bill, and then we're going to end up in a lawsuit again. I certainly hope she doesn't, but if she does, then that's what's going to happen. And I'm really proud of the leaders in South Carolina who filibustered and who decided to ensure that women in South Carolina had the ability to take care of their families in the way they saw fit. And then the last thing I really want to say is there's also some attacks on contraception that are happening recently that I think we really need to pay attention to. The best way to prevent an unintended pregnancy and an abortion is to provide contraception. And so, because guess what? Here's the bottom line. Women aren't going to stop having sex because we like sex, and it's good sex, and it's fun sex, and it should be because it's awesome. So we should at least make sure people have access to birth control so that they can prevent an abortion from happening in the first place. And I think that's all I have for today. If you're enjoying my Facebook Lives, I really encourage you to click on over to my website at burgerindustries.com. You're going to find some badass inspiration there, blog posts, online advocacy programs, tickets to my latest workshops. Speaking of tickets to amazing things, I have just put together the most incredible, amazing dinner with my friend Danielle Savory, where we're going to be doing coaching together in Portland, Oregon on June 1st, and it is going to be magical. So we're going to do some one-on-one coaching about passion and tapping into your body and mindfulness and all sorts of incredible, amazing things at a dinner. And so that information is going to pop up on my website later on today.
Attention, please.
I'm super excited about that.
Please proceed to baggage claim, carousel number
And I'm really, really thrilled about being able to produce that with my friend Danielle Savory. So that information is going to pop up on my website. And just so you know, none of this would be, I would never, ever, ever be able to do this work without your support. I post exclusive content and writing and videos over on my Patreon page. So if you want to support me monthly, you can do that for as little as like $2 a month over on patreon.com/BrickGirl1001. And if you're looking for one-on-one coaching, you can totally do that by sending me an email. My email's on my website, and all of my information about doing one-on-one coaching is over there. And Cheryl, Cheryl, I think it's wonderful that you, as a woman, have always had that choice, and that you feel that as a person, that you've never had any feelings of your rights as a person, that you haven't had a choice. And that is such a beautiful space to be able to come from. And Megan's absolutely right. Chances are you may know a woman who's felt that way. So I think it's really, really critical. I need God. Oh, I'm Episcopal. So I'm a little bit of a rebel when it comes to my God, because my God is all about being a woman. So, anyway, thank you all for being here. Thank you all for putting up with me being a little bit late on my Facebook Live and letting me come to you from the Portland airport. It's been really fun. And I hope you all have a super good weekend, and I'll talk to you soon. I'm going to go speak to the National Association of Perinatal Social Workers, who takes care of all of the little kiddos who are... I'm so excited to talk to them about advocacy, because they take care of the kiddos that are in the NICU and all that stuff. And I'm so excited. The perinatal social workers rock. So that's where I'm going. I'll talk to you soon. Bye, Corey. Bye, Liz. Good to see you.